Live from Woodbine Mohawk Park, it is Monday Night Harness action, and Woodbine Mohawk Park has been very, very busy over the last 4 days or so because not only have we had the races that we usually bring you, but the qualifiers have been extremely busy as well. We've tossed in now 2 days of qualifiers, and that's a good sign because that means some of the big names that we saw last season are going to be back in actually the not-too-distant future. We'll get more on that coming up a little bit later on with our qualifying report. But certainly looking forward to the program tonight. A lot of trot races as per usual on a Monday. Basically an even split between the trotters and the pacers. In terms of the weather, as Chad mentioned, the forecast, it's going to be warm, but a lot of rain coming up over the next several days. So they do say that April showers bring May flowers. Watching the Masters yesterday, it seems like their flowers were in fantastic shape. And how about our good friend that was able to pull off a victory yet again? Mr. McElroy does it yet again. So congratulations goes out to him. And before you know it, the Hall of Famer, Mr. Randy Waples, will have the golf clubs out. And I'm not talking mini putting. I am talking the real thing because I heard a rumor, a little birdie told me, that you now have a set of clubs.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Don't want to tell you the whole story on how I got those set of clubs. Not a good thing when you're out there bribing Ontario Racing Commission judges there to get their ex-clubs, you know. But, I haven't played golf like, I used to play a little bit there, but I haven't played golf since about 2006. Started this job. Bought a set last year, never went out. My back was never good enough that I could go out and swing the club, you know what I mean? But I'm going to try to, right now things are good, so I'm going to try to go out and, and play a little bit. I used to really, really enjoy it.
I think that golf is obviously very popular with a wide type of society, but I think in racing, what's nice that I like about it is here's guys that compete on the track, but then they go out the next day and they play golf together, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I didn't, like myself there, I could care less if we kept score.
Just go and enjoy the day.
Exactly. I just like being out with the guy and kibitzing and talking, and, once in a while you'll hit a good shot or something like that. I don't really take it too serious.
No, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, this was work. And you had to be competitive. That's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just 1 second here. Hello? Hey, Doug McNair and James McDonald. Yeah, Randy's available for a money game. Sure. Yep, no problem.
Oh, yes.
They'll take you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. One would aggravate you, and the other one would be taking all your money. I think James is quite a golfer.
Yeah?
That's what I've heard, yes.
Interesting.
I've heard that he's quite the golfer there.
The windmill hole, that's his best hole?
Yeah, really. The dog leg, there's an actual dog leg.
Let's take a look back at last night. And it seems like we're having horses get into the milestones ranks over the last couple of nights, as a matter of fact. And here's a classy horse, Ghostly Casper. And I must admit, he kind of creeped up on this line and caught me off guard a little bit. He's a 6-year-old that's now made $1 million.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's been a real success story for them. And big congratulations to Benoit and the connections, but an even bigger congratulations to his groom, Jeff Bergeron. I know how important it is for him when his horses race good and just race incredibly well there. Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, when Benoit brings these guys to play, look out.
93 career starts and now a millionaire and looking good in the process. Now, in the New Holland Series, it was a small field, and I think what really hurt Hasty Bid was I think James had to go because he was driving the heavy favorite, right?
He had no choice.
But here might have been the more preferred approach.
Yeah. He's a hunter.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, I'd love to own the horse. I'd love to own him so that I could race him in front, and even if he got beat, because he's just a lovely horse. But boy, oh boy, you give him something to hunt. And I'm not kidding. I think that James times the wire on this track just as good as anybody I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen some good ones, but he ranks right there. So you got a hunter and a guy that can time a horse on the end of it that also likes to do some hunting. That's a lethal combination.
So there's a look at it. Hasty Bid was not 3-5, I don't think. Was Hasty Bid?
No.
I think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
But because you had the horse on top.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he went off. I didn't really notice it. I was just glad that that he got the job done. But I didn't see him going off as the 3-5 favorite.
I'm gonna double check now.
Okay.
Now I am curious.
This
Things
is
that make us
power
say
of the brat.
Yeah, power of the computer. He was. It was 70 cents on the dollar. That's what I get for questioning the crew. He was heavily favored.
There you go.
I apologize to the crew.
I apologize.
Yeah, I apologize there. Wow, he got that heavy. That's because, and then the reason I question that is, and this is the point that I'm going to bring up to you is, there's no kingpin in the trot division. There's a lot of good horses, but there's not a dominating horse right now in that division.
No, for sure. And then Safe Conduct's not in there too, so that helps things.
Logan Park qualified the other day.
Logan Park just qualified.
Yeah.
And then Osceola qualified.
Yeah,
That's going to get a lot tougher. There's no doubt about it. But it doesn't matter who they put in there. James's horse can still hunt.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can load it up as much as you want. As long as this horse has a helmet to follow and James can keep him kind of close, he's going to make a big dash on the end of it because that's the horse loves that style of racing.
My apology to the crew for doubting them. You know what they're saying right now?
What?
Thank God Brad's going back.
Yeah, T-Breds can't start quick enough.
They're like, just get rid of this guy. Just get rid of
But then again, they're going to get stuck with the guy that didn't know his winner paid 3 to 5.
You thought it was 35 to 1.
What a
yeah, exactly. Let's go to Q School, shall we? And the qualifiers now you're starting to get the big names. And we had a couple of nice names qualifying this morning. And let's get to the qualifier that featured Uncle Shank and Grit and Grace. So Uncle Shank's going to win it. And it's just nice to see him get a flat line because he's been self-destructing ever since being claimed in here. But Grit and Grace is going to finish in second for Stretch Mike Kwiatkowski. And I was looking up her record. And Randy, she never really got a break until this wintertime. She raced a lot last season. She raced 36 times last year.
Yeah, she did. Absolutely. Stretch's barn, been kind of quiet on the wins, but this is a big powerhouse for him. Sometimes when the powerhouse comes back and they start to win, and the rest of them start winning too. So it's just nice to see her back.
Tricky track, too. They come home last quarter in 27-4. And here's a look at Monalishi for Blake McIntosh. Fantastic competitor. Really can't wait to see this horse back in the entries. And, listen, I think just judged by this, it looks like maybe a bit of a tiring track. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah.
For sure. And the air's going to be thick and that. They don't go through it the same as when it's nice and hot or a nice non-humid kind of a day. But she looks fantastic. She always does kind of qualify back really, really strong in that. And best of luck to Blake McIntosh and his connections with the Monalishi there because she's definitely turned into one of my favorites.
She's approaching $1 million in career earnings too, and had a great campaign last season. She's just been a lovely, lovely horse. Let's look back at the qualifying report. And we're lucky that we get sent the proofs for the qualifiers, and I always like going through it to figure out who's going to be back in action, and then we get to watch them as well. I can't go back and realize how we lived without being able to view qualifiers now. Like back in your day, you came to the qualifiers every day, so you were able to watch them. But for me as a fan, I just a qualifier in the program. That doesn't tell you that much until you get the visuals.
Well, you'd head over. So say you'd go first trip at Greenwood, you'd have to take your horse over, or unless they went right from the barn. But sometimes the trainer or my father was already over at the paddock, so you brought your horse over. They go the trip. And the funny thing is you'd see all the the guys that you knew were a handicapper.
Oh, yeah.
Guys that you knew, and they'd all be coming in because at 5:30 they could all watch the replays.
Oh.
So they'd have to be there at 5:30 at the track to watch the
qualifiers.
replays. It is so... It's the difference of night and day. You know what I mean? The information that's given to a handicapper now as opposed to then. Those guys back then, they were a breed of their own.
Well, it's hard to get an edge now.
It is.
Handicapping.
That's it.
Really,
but they
really
could
is.
even find them back then. And
I know.
everybody was closed mouth.
Yeah.
There was no track it. There was no
nothing.
qualifying
Yeah,
report.
yeah.
There was no YouTube. There was none of that. They just had to be there all the time. They had to be there in the morning through the week watching. They had to be there at qualifiers to watch the qualifiers. Like those guys, they were a breed of their own.
Want to see some magic?
Yeah.
I can make some stats appear right in behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Stats and standings time. Time to get out the calculator and try to figure out who is on top right now. And good to see TB making the board. Tyler Borth. I was a little bit worried when Mark came back that maybe he would be one of the guys whose business would be affected a little bit, but no, he's doing A-okay.
Yeah, no, it just seems like they've all, been able to make a little bit of room for Mark in there. Everybody seems to be, pretty well adjusting to it all. And Tyler's young. He's just going to keep getting better and better and stronger, I think. But the big tell on that one, even though James is winning at a 31%, is that earnings, almost $100,000, above Louis and Dougie. and Tyler. So James had a big week on the track and a big week in the bank account.
Let's take a look at the trainers, see if we have some familiar faces on this board or not. Kyle's right there in the mix of things. Gary Murner, he's been hot for, I would say, a good month. You know, that barn's been going really... I don't think I've ever seen Gary have the power he's got this year.
And it's nice to see.
Yeah.
You know, this is a guy that's been around for a long time, you know, learned his lessons, did a lot of hard work, and now he's getting an opportunity and he's running with it. So that's kind of nice. And nice to see Benny back up on the thing. Look at that win percentage, Jeff, 37.5%. You know, I got a feeling a lot of his horses in the next couple weeks are going to be bet down.
Yep, does a good
Barn
job.
gets hot, it gets hot.
Yep. So congratulations to everybody that's had some recent success, and hopefully the success does continue. Now, if you've watched the show on a regular basis, Randy and I, we try to have this consensus pick 5 going. We've had a little bit of difficulty getting out of the first leg recently, but we're going to give it the old college try again here in this one.
I told you what we're going to do the next time if this one doesn't work, right?
All burger in the first race.
Doesn't matter what it is. You know, we're all in the first race.
There could be Johnny Angel in the field, and we'll go all in the first.
Johnny Angel against Maiden Trot.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. First of the day, this is a trot with a purse of $22,000, and we got some big names in here. You've got, you know, horses that have had some success: Royal Flush Dale, Eurobank Hanover. This Wolfpack Crown is coming off a really good race as well. So you're looking at the board right now. If you're looking for the early money, not giving you any clues right now at this point.
This is like I mean, you could all this race.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Problem is, though, are you going to get a price?
I know.
You know, where did you go?
I went to Eurobank Hanover. Mainly because I really like the winner of that race. We're going to see coming up a little bit later on in the program.
Yeah, I agree with you, though. I went with Eurobank Hanover as well. I you know, when I first started this job, Jeff, they used to tell me one of the better angles was the beaten favorite.
Love it.
Right, and this guy was the beaten favorite. And one of the reasons why he was the beaten favorite was because he kind of had to change things up on how he decided on racing him. There was no trip available. He had to come and get him in front. It wasn't taxing fractions or anything, but he still had to do the work. And, you know, the one that got up into his grill there, Mr. Wallner Fashion, this could be a pretty interesting animal too. So Eurobank is the way that I went as well.
I want to spread a ruin here. And so we're going to go 5 deep in here. We're going to use the 3, 4, 6, 7, and 9. So Royal Flush Dale, I don't know if he's as good now as he was, say, about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, but we're going to use that one. We're going to use Eurobank. We're going to use Wolfbank Crown. But we're also going to use Hercules, who we realize is moving up, but this PL Sapphire, you were talking to me off camera that you liked the horse, and now we get an equipment change with this one today as well.
Yeah, taking the Murphy off the inside on that one. Interesting one. I don't really like this Hercules. I think that this is a pretty nice horse, and he's a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? You're not looking at stake races or anything like that, but I think that there's some quality, and Tyler Jones has got along really, really good with this horse. He's won 2 in a row, and for him to pick against him to go to PL Sapphire, that kind of makes me go,
Yeah.
And then when you watch the replay last week on PA Sapphire, usually if they're live on the end of it, I'll put down big on end or sneaky good on end. Hers, I put question mark on end because I really wasn't sure the first time that I watched it, was she live on the end of it? So then when I watched it the other day, she was live. This thing was live, and then he's going to go against the horse that he could have drove to go with this one. It makes me wonder just what kind of depth is in there with PL Sapphire. So I do think that we kind of got to, you know, throw her in amongst them.
Listen, I like it.
If we get her, we're going to get her at a price.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's nice for us from a handicapping point of view is I like when you get a good quality race to start off the night because it's tough when you have horses, like say you get that low end, like non-winners of a trot race. The form of those horses, it's so tough to narrow in. At least we've got 5 positive options in this race.
You know what I found years and years ago, and you don't see it as much now, on a Saturday night, and back then a lot of times it was Saturday afternoon in the winter, I always found that they put like the Open or one of their bigger races, a junior free-for-all or an 80 to 100 claimer in race number 2.
Yeah.
It's like they were trying to get them there early, maybe give them a free square in the opening double, and then let them roll from that point on.
Yep. Race placement, it's something that I don't think is talked about enough in this game because from a betting point of view, it is absolutely crucial. Yeah,
I mean, you've known that for a very long time. I'm just starting to realize that now.
Yeah, it's like if you have a 1 to 9 shot to start off a pick 5, it is the worst because it just, from a handle point of view, it kills the pool.
Right. Right. Everybody's going to play it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Race number 2 on the program has a field of 7 in here. What'd you make of Trooper Hanover's last starts? Like, Paul drove on that day. The horse took ample support. The trip maybe wasn't the easiest for the comeback, but I still would have liked to have seen a little bit more finish than what we got on that day.
I liked everything about him except at the very, very end of his mile. I just kind of thought he shortened up big time right on the end of it, you know, and I really wasn't expecting that. I see he's going to enlist James to drive this one tonight. You know, Paul usually has his horses ready to go. This guy only had the one qualifier, and he chopped it out there. Looked like he was ready to pop. And, you know, he throws him in a 20 claimer. But sometimes it's not fitness that makes them kind of say, you know, no on the end of it there. So that kind of bothered me. I'm going to throw him in for third. Where I went, and I don't know if you use this one, but I'm really, really intrigued by this 4-horse, Lochinvar.
Or Aussie, I think it is.
Lochinvar Aussie.
Yeah.
You know, now Trevor Henry's going to pick this one up. He is coming from the Tritons, you know, a husband and wife team down there. I think he does the training. Shane and his wife Lauren, she is the driver of this bunch. Now, when I used to drive for a guy that had a lot of horses coming up from New Jersey at one time, Bill Robinson's barn, you know, they had a barn on each side. So
yep.
There was a lot of horses coming back and forth and back and forth. And anytime that he had a horse come up from the Meadowlands that maybe wasn't racing as good as he wanted him to race, but showed a lot of zeros on his card. In other words, parked. That is a tough park at the Meadowlands. That is a big turn. It's, you know, it's fast speed. So what I would do is I'd run them up the inside, and I'm telling you, these things would just, you know, really, really kind of flourish there that way. And I think that if Trevor decides, you know, no one really, you know, unless Jamie Copley says, hey, I trained this horse a mile and 50 the other day, you know, racing on the front.
Yeah.
If he has a choice in here, I think that if he leaves him on the inside, buries him, and then happens to get lucky and shake loose, I think that this horse could come up with a really, really nice effort. So I'm going to try him as a fresh face, fresh barn, and Trevor Henry, one of my more favorite drivers. So I'm going to go the Lochinvar Aussie.
Looks like it might have been a private purchase, too.
Yeah, I think so, eh?
Race. Yeah, so we'll use that one on our pick 4. We'll use Trooper Hanover, but we're going to use Broodon. Now, you might be saying, are you using Broodon? This is the Waples don't jump off the bandwagon yet angle, because you liked this horse a little bit last week.
I really liked him. The only thing that is just I didn't really expect JR to quite race him that way. I like him when he's tight and they want to race him in front, but when he's not cracking tight, I like them to race him the other way, which is the way that he was racing before last week. So I'm really hoping that he got him into some serious fractions, and that was the reason why the horse kind of called it off. If he goes back to the other way, I think the horse would really, really appreciate it, and nothing would make me, you know, less, you know, miserable if Broodon happened to win at a big price.
Let's do it.
Had him on top in his last, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the way he raced last night, last week, even though it didn't work out for me, I kind of agree with the way that he raced him. So I really would like to see the end of the movie. So if Broodon is nowhere and he, you know, he makes our ticket more expensive, that's on Randy.
Let's do it. Let's get to race number 3 now on the card. We're going to talk about some trotters. First level trotters in here in terms of the conditions of this race. Non-winners of 1 in here, and we have a field of 8. And when I was doing my initial handicapping, I saw Solo to Lexington, and I said, I'm going to try and beat this horse. The problem is I went up, down, left, right, diagonal. I changed pens, changed highlighters. And this Solo to Lexington, I just think if she can keep it together, and that's a huge if, she's going to be tough. Now, having said that, the best piece of advice I can give you in here from a betting point of view is, and we do picks, but we talk about wagering as well. If this horse is over bet tonight, I think you got to go in a different direction. I think it's risk versus reward. I think you got to ask for 5-2 or more to play this horse, and you might not get that in here. So if you like somebody else, that is totally cool with me. In fact, you've got a replay in here in regards to my Classic Queen.
This is a horse. This is going to be my top pick in here. I agree with everything that you said. You know, about accepting certain numbers.
Yeah.
My Classic Queen now went to the hobbles recently. I would say. You know, this she's had them on now 3 starts, but the first time. On the March the 23rd line, she didn't really do nothing. But what she did do was she stayed at it. She kept trotting. So then her next start, March the 29th, 6 days later, she comes up with a much better effort, closed up big time. Then she comes back 7 days later and has the 7-hole. And again, what I think is a much stronger effort. And both of her last two times, she's come home in 28 seconds flat. And where I think that that's viable is that you look up and down this page, there's not many other horses that are doing that. And she's doing it in the morning. Usually in the morning, the track's not as fast as at night. So 28 seconds, I was thinking of a different horse, but 28 seconds to me is where she's coming into it. Before it was 30 and change, 31. Then all of a sudden, with the hobbles coming on, it's 28. He's able to push her more. So let's take a look at Mr. Thiessen in this last race. And this is what I like already. So she's at the back of the pack, but look at her and look at him. She's keeping up on her own. The lines are tight. The shoulders are back. He's not looking to do anything with her, but she's just doing this all on her own. She's racing. He's not tapping her to keep up. And then instead of even looking to go up the inside, he automatically bails to the outside. So that, again, tells me that she's got some trot, and he wants to apply it and see what's going to happen. And here she starts to trot on the end of it, and she really starts to dig in here, I think. Isn't going to be a match for these three here, but look at her fly right here on the end of it. And on the run out, she kind of keeps going as well. Now, I'm pretty sure that was the fellow's horse up on top. That was... Sherlyn Hanover, who was just a creature, and we're going to see her coming out again, and I'm going to creature her again. I really think that she's special, but I thought My Classy Queen is really starting to come around. Unfortunately, does draw the rail, but she had the rail 2 down, and it didn't bother her. So that's the way I'm going to go.
You know what? Listen, I don't speak horse. I wish I did. But listen, with My Classy Queen, when I watched that replay, you know what it almost looks like to me is the old light bulb went off. We're kind of figuring things out a little bit right now.
Figuring things out.
So
we're kind of starting to like it.
Yeah, exactly. That was a nice finish in that race, too. So race number 3 on the trot.
And where are we going?
Oh, yeah. So we're going to use, in that race, we're going to use your horse, My Classic Queen, and Solo to Lexington. I would have liked to have walled it in this race, but because we used so many in some of the earlier races, we couldn't afford that. So let's use your horse, and we'll use Solo to Lexington as well. Knock on wood, I think the brakes are behind your horse. I'm not sure that's the case with Solo to Lexington or not.
Right.
So we'll see.
Cool.
Now, in the 4th, I think this is where a lot of people are going to key in on a horse, because we've had a beautiful horse that we've seen here from the Luke Blaze outfit, the name of Delightful Yankee. They paid a decent buck for this horse, and the great thing is that she gets to remain in the same class that she raced against last time out. So I want you to put on your scouting hat. Let's say you're looking at these junior hockey players, and you're saying to the GM that you work for, we've got to draft this player. Why should we draft this horse? What is the natural ability that you've seen from her so far?
So far, she hasn't got a trip. I mean, he hasn't drove her bad, but she really, truly hasn't got a trip. I'm waiting for the day that she either sits in the 2-hole, does nothing, and then gets out at the head of the lane, comes second over, does nothing, and gets out at the head of the lane. She's been, last week she roughed it up a little bit and ended up getting the job done. The week before, she spent some time on the outside and ended up getting the job done. I just like her because she doesn't need a trip. She can make her trip. And, maybe that's got something to do with that $439,000 they paid with her as a baby. I came free, so they had to wait on me. But this one they had to pay a little bit of money for. So I like her. I honestly, Jeff, as this is a nice group, but I really only see it as a 3-1 exactor.
Yeah, so that's what I got too. Yeah, this Tomboy Strong does look pretty good in here.
So we're going to
keep the 3.
Yes.
Delightful Yankee. Because Tomboy Strong's going to have the race of her life to beat that horse
and the
tonight.
rail.
Yeah.
It can get a little bit trickier. Did have the rail in its last qualifier, got out of there okay, but only in a quarter and 30 seconds, you know what I mean? So I just like Delightful Yankee because, like I said, he doesn't have to make a trip.
Yeah.
He can just let her do her racing.
Now, in my handicapping briefcase, Randy, I've got lots of tools. I've got highlighters, pens, but I have a magnifying glass as well. And the magnifying glass says I'm going to watch this My Ghost very carefully tonight because I want to see what this one is going to be able to do. I don't know if tonight she's going to be able to win or not, but she showed a lot of ability early on in her career.
She has, yeah, absolutely. Got some serious git on the end of it there. Another nice young trotter coming out of the Eric Nadeau camp.
So the 5th race is going to wrap up the pick 5. So we're going to key the horse there in the 4th, that being Delightful Yankee. In the 5th, we're going to scratch the 4 Race Credit. Race Credit's missed a lot of time now, back-to-back scratches.
Yeah, and he was in a good spot here.
I know. An Outlaw Gran Torino is out now as well. So we lose a couple in this spot. So we're down to a field of 8. I'm watching this race with hands over my eyes because I have picked a horse in here, Randy, that I could have total egg on my face. This Summer Dancer, I don't know if she's just totally gone off form, if there's a reason why they're dropping a ton with her, or if Mike's just saying, you know what, we got to put her in a spot where she can win and get her confidence back. How do you read it? Like, let me ask you from a handicapping point of view. What are you going to do with Summer Dancer here in this race?
Well, I mean, I I'm not 100% sure if it's not going to be a tougher class. I'm not a big fan of the 20,000 claiming condition. I truly believe that the only level that is less than the 20,000 claiming condition is the 8,000 claiming condition. I look at 7,500 or 8 straights as a deeper bunch than usually the 20 claiming. I'm not saying that there's not certain horses that don't show up in these classes 1 or 2 at a time, but as a group, I find them to be.
So you're saying it's not really that much of a drop, if any?
No.
Yeah.
If anything, like I said, I think that this is probably a tougher bunch. You know what I mean? So I think.
Well, that doesn't make me feel any more confident.
I did use this one. I mean, listen. I mean, this horse responded well to Phil last week.
Yeah.
Look at the last quarters he's been going, and look what he did last week with Phil. 27-1 on the end of it. That's kind of dangerous. Draws back in here. They go back to Jody, but he's still playable in here. I think that if he comes up with a big race, he's going to be a part of the ticket. I really look at it again as the Cullen horse, early play, but I think that He's Swift is the way to go in here. I really do think that he is the horse that, again, doesn't have to look for the trip.
Yeah.
He can make it on his own, and he's got the right guy to do that with Phil. Phil does not mind airing one out on the front end, so I think that Phil's going to get a big mile out of He's Swift.
So because producer Jason Moore pays us in Canadian Tire dollars, we don't have a massive budget that we can play when it comes to the Pick 5 here tonight. Let's recap our ticket for you. If we could have tossed in one more, I think I would have liked to have tossed in early play, but we can't. The problem with early play is he doesn't have any speed, and he's always trip dependent, right? So let's recap our ticket in here. We're going to key in race number 4, the number 3, that being Delightful Yankee. We're going to go 5 deep to start it off. Gosh, we got to get through the first leg tonight. 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. And then the second race, we've got the 2, 4, and the 6. Troopy Hanover, the newcomer to the Copley outfits, and Brudon. Come on, Brudon, one time.
He could be our favorite horse.
Yes. Third, we got the 1 and the 8. Fourth, we're going to key in on Delightful Yankee. And then in the 5th, it's the 3 and the 5, that being Summer Dancer and He's Swift. I think a lot of people, Randy, are going to play it basically like a pick 4 tonight with that.
Probably.
If Delightful Yankee loses, then
yeah, it's going to
touchdown
really,
for somebody.
For sure, absolutely. That's going to separate a lot of tickets.
Okay, race 6, this Mr. Wallner fashion. I had a chance to catch up with Scotty Young last week after he was able to win with this horse, and they have some high expectations for this horse. They've paid this horse into some series. By the way, to everybody watching the show that is an owner, your final stakes payments for a lot of races like the NA Cup, April the 15th, I think is your next payment. I'm not sure when the final one is, probably when you enter, I guess, but that's tough for me. Like, you got to keep making these payments. Some of these horses haven't even started as of yet, but I guess you're just looking at qualifiers and how they're coming in.
Way to go broke. Come February when you got to start making them payments.
Yeah.
Boy,
there's 2 ways of getting broke: stakes payments and driving a car these days.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so Mr. Wallner Fashion didn't have a great draw. Now, I got to give Johnny Rallis a lot of credit because he loved this horse last week, and he caught up with Scotty, and Scotty was very complimentary of the horse, too. They threw it down. This horse did in Eurobank Hanover. The one thing is he got a little bit hot pre-race, but he was still able to win. How much a hindrance is the draw, though, for this guy tonight?
Yeah, that is, he's going to come in. We're going to have to see it there. But, I feel better that Scotty, who knows the issues that can sometimes happen with the rail, he's going to know it, and I just don't think he's going to get him into that problem. But like you said, last week he did look a little fractious out in the post parade. I'm hoping that because this is the second start back at night, he's going to be a little bit more accustomed to it, a little more cool with it, So I'm going to go with him. He's my all-in bet tonight. And starting out this late pick 5, Jeff, I'm looking at him as a free square. He's got some nice horses in against him. I'm a big fan of Roxy Hart, but she's just making her first start back. Richie Rich is just starting to get better, but now they're going to go to a set of flip-flops up in front with him. So then you wonder, are the feet that much better? Not going to use my brother's horse in here. That might be a bit of a problem.
I like him a little bit.
And now he's coming in with his chain.
I got him
sides
third.
to blind.
Yep.
Makes
Yep.
you go,
Yep.
You know, and that's about it. But I think that this Wallner Fashion horse really, really impressed me last week. I don't know if I can see any other horse in here that is able to come 27 seconds on the end of it and do it consistently. So Mr. Wallner Fashion, we're going to show you the replay of him. And remember, at the head of the lane when this guy's starting to come, he started out from the 9 hole, made a big move to get to the 5 hole, made a big move to get to this point. This is about the 3rd move that he's made. Let's see if there's one more under the hood for Mr. Scott Young and Mr. Wallner Fashion. So here we go on the outside, and this is such a good, you know, here we got Eurobank Hanover up on top, which was my top pick in this race. And just, you know, he raced great, but he could not fight this guy off. He just keeps coming. And how about this body language on Scott Young? You know, he ain't panicking. He's, you know, he's still a half a wheel behind Bobby, not panicking. You know, now he starts to speak to him, and this guy responds. Wow, what a nice horse. And this is a really, really nice horse that he's going by. But he just wasn't going to hold him off, and on the run out, it even gets worse, too. So, you know, just a really, really good-looking horse there, that 9 horse, and I think that this is his race to win or lose.
Yeah, you can see on his underbelly how hot he got, you know, and but, yeah, he might race out of that, you know, now that he's a little bit, you know, not as much anticipating what's going to happen because he's coming back. Now, second start off to lay off. But the theme that you hit on with a lot of these other horses is it's their first start of the year.
Yeah,
you know,
that's it.
So you're facing a bit of a monster coming off the bench, which is a little bit unfortunate.
And again, you know, he didn't mind. Like, he got away 5th from the 9 hole last week. He's got the rail this week. They're all not going to come barreling out of it. If he gets away mid-pack, you know, he can just move him into the fresh air again.
We're going to skip the 7th because we're a little bit tight for time. Let's get to race number 8 now. And this is a non-2 on the trot. We scratched number 6, Green Money Queen. So we're down to a field of 8. I like this Checkmaster because the horse has won twice and has won this class, albeit it was a while back, but it's kind of hit or miss as of late. But this Rico Tubbs is one that we're going to keep a keen eye in here. Well-traveled individual for the stable, and last season banked some pretty good bucks. What do you think of the comeback race?
Oh, great. Yeah, we're going to actually show you that one. Did you go Rico Tubbs?
I put the horse in 3rd.
Oh, I put him in for 2nd.
Yeah, I went 7-5-1. I put this Shirley in Hanover 2nd.
And then you went
Checkmaster on top, yeah.
Okay, Checkmaster, I mean, this is a drop down for him. He raced in the non-winners of 3 last week, you know, but was racing real good up to then. Herbie Hall, and, you know, his barn is good right now as well, too. I didn't use him in there, but I did. Where I went to on top here is Sherlyn Hanover.
Yeah.
I was so impressed with her last week, and I know she's coming up, where Rico Tubbs, he's already got a start under his belt. So let's take a look at his. Rico Tubbs had the rail last week in this class, non-winners of 2 or 20, got away at the back of the pack, and let's see if there's any pop on the end of it. Were you a Miami Vice fan?
Oh, yes.
Really? Wasn't that the guy's name, Rico Tubbs?
I remember how those guys dressed. They were so sharply dressed,
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Great
Didn't
show.
they do an episode on Friends where Ross and
probably
they dress the same way there or something?
Probably, yeah.
So anyway, here we go. And let's see if James McDonald and Rico Tubbs has any go on the end of it. Or will he be looking for Sonny Crockett to come up with him here? Oh, no, this is Mark. My apologies to brother Mark. This is Mark when he subbed with this one for James. James back aboard. And, yeah, good wheels on the end of it for Mark. Nice, easy mile that Mark put underneath this one. So I think he's handing his brother back a really live drive in this one. But Mark is going to pick himself up kind of a, you know, interesting drive, too, with Trudy Bird. Not going to put her up on top now, but at some point, I do think that we're going to start to see a little bit of Trudy Bird action.
What happens now with these stable horses now? Because Anthony calls the shots with these horses, and now he's got 2 brothers that are competing here on the circuit. So how does he divide that up? That's pretty interesting family dinner next time.
That could be some interesting TV if they did it on TV. Put the 3 of them in the room and then see who gets to drive who.
Yeah, I like it. 9th race on the program. We have another replay that we're going to look at in here. And Make Me a Legend goes 2nd time off the plan for the Osceola barn. They had some success last night with us here at Woodbine. I had a tough time handicapping this race. We're going to change that to race 9. We just did the 8th race. We're going to change that graphic to race number 9. And getting on to Lasix, and here is number 8, that being Better Beast. I must admit, Randy, I struggled doing my handicapping in here.
Well, Better Beast is kind of interesting because he's going to go first start Lasix. So that's not really my move, especially from the outside. So I'm going to take a wait and see on him. But I do think at some point, he's going to look better in this class. Belmont Blazer's been racing in here for a while, so he's kind of logical to be a part of it. But just 0 for 16, it's hard to, pull the trigger. I thought that Catitude raced really, really well in his last, but boy, he got tripped to death by David Kelly. So hopefully David's going to be able to come up with the same kind of an effort with him. I got him in for 4th. Crazen Party Boy in for 2nd. Where I went was the 4-horse Make Me a Legend. That was first time Carmen Auciello for this guy. And where I thought that this horse could be really, really live in this race is the fact he was racing straight 14 claimers. Then he drops, or he claims them, and in my opinion, he has dropped this horse down from the straight 14s into a 20,000 claiming condition. I think that this is so. He had the 8-hole. He goes out of there. Let's see if he's got any pop on the end of it for Travis Henry. He's going to be my top pick in here. So right now, shoulders back on Travis Henry, sitting in the 3-hole with the Snowman saddle pad, the number 8 position, and he is going to me, look like he's got some serious go. And again, to me, last week was a drop down. Plus, at one time, first start Carmen Auciello was gold. His barn's not, firing as really on the way that maybe it should be right now. But he's continually putting fresh new horses into his barn. And I think that he's going to build things up here. So, again, here's Travis. He gets to the outside with this guy, and let's see if he's got any pop on the end of it. I say he does. He isn't going to get to Dougie, but he is going to keep coming, and that was first start for him. So on the run out, not a bad effort. Travis is going to come right back with this guy. Better post position to work with and the ability to get himself out of there. I'm not really sure who's going to cut this mile. Maybe Travis is going to want to try to cut it with this second time Carmen Auciello, but that's the route I'm going.
I'm going to take a shot with Wicked Express. Now, he has been a bit of a bad actor as of late at Flamborough. Here, he's a little bit better. But I'm really banking on the fact that he's been duking it with Volcanic a bunch of occasions this season and beat Volcanic not all that long ago. So if he can stay flat, I think he's right there.
At one time, Wicked Express owned this class.
Yeah.
But the problem that you get with this class, though, is that, how can a horse with a cap on it still fit it with the money? Look what he made last year, 76.
Yeah.
He's got 30 made this year. He's made over 100,000 in his last 2 years. But what's happened is they keep moving that cap up.
Yeah.
It goes from 25 to 30 to 50. Now it's at 67. So he keeps getting in here. But even though they're letting him in, they're letting other horses that got a lot of money on their card drop in here as well, too. So I don't think it's any easier than when he was here before. But I will say, at one time, if you look down on the bottom of his card, at one time, this horse owned this class.
Yeah, no, he has. And poor producer tonight, Jason, has said, you guys talk too much. We have to drop race number 10.
Oh, okay.
So let's take a look.
I'll take the responsibility.
Let's take a look at some tickets and see what we've got when it comes to that. So this is just a recap of our consensus pick 5. We've kind of gone over this a little bit. We're all in race number 4, as will many people be with Delightful Yankee. Now, what other tickets do we have to pass along? Let's take a look at the pick 6 in here, and you are a little bit on the heavy side towards the back half of this tickets.
Yeah, tough. I've just found the last couple of weeks have been really tough sequences. So I do key Delightful Yankee in that race. Then race number 5, Summer Dancer, and he's Swift. Race number 6 is going to be a key, and that's going to be Mr. Wallner Fashion. Then here comes the heat. I'm going to go Cool, Calm, and Collected, switch the pacing bred trotter, and the 5-horse Selenial going into the Carmen Auciello barn. Race number 8, it's going to be Sherlin Hanover and Rico Tubbs. And then I'm going to use all 4 of my numbers in race number 9, and that's going to be the 1, the 4, the 5, and the 6, my top play being Make Me a Legend.
So that's your pick 6. We've got late pick 5s that we'll take a look at as well in here. And, the all button is being pushed in race number 8.
You knew I had to get to it.
Yeah, at some point tonight, the all burger. Well, it's only 7, too, so we can actually make this ticket a little bit cheaper now because we have the scratch of Green Money Queen. So that's now a 7-horse field there in race number 8.
Beautiful. You just keep talking, Jeff. You're making me look better all the time. In race number 7, I'm going to go Switch and Zelenio, obviously the key on Mr. Wallner Fashion. In race number 8, I'm going to key this one. Like Jeff said, you're now down to a field of 7. I think we can maybe catch a price if, on something. Race number 9, it's going to be Make Me a Legend. I'm going to single them. And then in the 10th race, I'm going to go too deep and basically using the Cullen horse, Jody Grace, Catch Me Gracefully, and Grace Marshman's horse, driven by Travis, My Only Sunshine.
Here's a look at my late pick 5. We've got the same key with Mr. Wallner Fashion, and then I got coverage the rest of the way. Nothing too crazy, I don't think. I've got Switch in there. I've got Green Grass Grows. 8th top pick in there is going to be the 7, but I do have your Rico Tubbs in there, Randy. 9th, I've got Wicked Express and Make Me a Legend. And then the last, I've got This Girl Rules, Catch Me Gracefully, and My Only Sunshine. Boy, we have a lot of similarities when it comes to
they are kind of the same, just a little bit of different,
A little bit different, along the way. Plays of the nights. We have those that we'll take a look at. And we'll start off with Randy Waples.
Worth a look is going to be a whole new face to our circuit, and that's going to be Lochinvar Aussie. I can't wait till Chad actually calls that so I know how the pronunciation is correct. Race 3, beat the favorite, My Classy Queen. All in is going to be Mr. Wallner Fashion, and Waples Watch, Make Me a Legend in race number 9.
Let's take a look at what this handsome devil's got for you. My watch lister is Eurobank Hanover. My bounce back threat is Trooper Hanover. I see that one bouncing back. Delightful Yankee, very unoriginal pick there. And my best bet is Mr. Wallner Fashion coming up in race number 6. Let's give you some value plays. So these guys say enough of that chalk that Brad's giving you. Kevin Plaucha, I love me some tacos. I am not a big taco guy in real life. I am not.
Love tacos.
Do you?
Oh.
I don't mind the soft shell. The hard shell?
I love the the hard shell.
Oh, Randy.
Oh, I love them. They're messy, but I love them.
Checkmaster, that's where Garnet Barnsdale's going to go. Garnet's had a good week, as a matter of fact. And Gislet, hey, me and my man Gislet, we both like Wicked Express tonight. Due for more is that one.
Yes, he is, yeah.
Alrighty, should we take a break? I think we shall. Race number 1 coming up momentarily here from Woodbine Mohawk Park as we start off the pick 5. Pool guaranteed at $75,000.